Well, looks like we're all here and
Got a big
good
crowd.
to go. Okay, it's around 5 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order, and if you would stand, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I am told that our student trustee is in class taking a final this evening, so I would say that would take precedence. And looks like we have a small gathering here today, but it's the quality, not the quantity that counts, I think. And I know that some of you may leave before the meeting comes to a conclusion, so in that regard, I would like to wish everyone here a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because we probably won't see you until after the first of the year. So with that, we have an oath of office to administer to two of our trustees today.
Okay, so Mr. President, if I could, I'd like to ask our two incumbent board members who were reinstated by the opportunity to run for re-election uncontested to join me at the podium, please.
And that's the most fun way to do it.
It is.
I agree.
So I think I'll ask the two of you to stand there. I'll forget my back for just a minute here. Okay, it's my privilege this evening to issue the oath of office to board members Lori Cardoza and Earl Mann, who successfully submitted their names and were fortunate enough to run unopposed and are back on our board. So if you would raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, and then state your name. I can tell already I'm gonna have to get closer. Am I on your good side, Earl? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, forgive me. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic.
And I will bear
And I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely,
That I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
And that I will
And that I will
well and faithfully discharge
well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
All right, congratulations. All right, now at this time, it's time for the organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees. And for the, with that, I would like to ask that President Carrizosa handle the item A, the election of President of the Board.
Okay, very good. For the public's benefit this evening, we do have copies available of three board policies. The first is Board Policy 2305, which designates the first regular meeting in December of each year as the annual organizational meeting. So we had to post this in a unique fashion and designate it as the organizational meeting prior to conducting this business tonight. The second is Board Policy 2210, which talks about the election of officers. And so we've all been through this before, but just for your general knowledge and for the audience's benefit, The election of officers among the board here at College of the Sequoias is a board activity. It's done in the same fashion that any other formal board action is carried out. So when the office of president is opened, there's an opportunity for board members to nominate fellow board members that they may feel would serve effectively as board president. Any nomination comes in the form of a motion. That motion would require a second. With a motion and a second, there would then be an opportunity for the board to vote on that nominee for an office. In this case, we'll start with president. And if it's successful, then we have elected our president, and the president would continue then to carry out those same actions in the selection of a vice president and then also the office of clerk for the board. If for some reason there was a motion to nominate and either no second for that motion or a second for that motion and a failed vote, then the floor would be open for a nomination again. We don't have any requirement in our board policy for the board members to follow any particular rotation. I think historically, COS has had a trend of officers serving multiple years in their terms. That's not a requirement either, but that's been the trend of past elections. So with that, we do have our office of president, and just by way of quick reminder, the duties of the president as they're illustrated here in our board policy include the following. President is primarily responsible for presiding over meetings of the board, calling emergency and special meetings of the board as required by law, to consult with the superintendent president on board meeting agendas, communicate with individual board members about their responsibilities, participate in the orientation process for any new board members, assure board compliance with policies on board education, self-evaluation, and evaluation of the CEO or superintendent president, and to represent the board at official events to ensure board representation. So those are the primary responsibilities for the office of president. The term of office is for 1 year, and if there aren't any other questions or desired discussion by the board, then this would be the time to open the floor for nominations from the board for the office of president.
Mr. Carrizosa, I nominate Ken Nunes.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for the nomination of Ken Nunes to serve as president. That would be your first consecutive year, so your second year serving as president. Any further discussion?
Move we close the nominations.
Nominations are closed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You're in for another year of president, Ken.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for your confidence. All right, then with
So
that,
now, yeah, you get to
with
do the
that,
same
we
thing
can
for vice
move
president.
to the office of vice president. And
I move or nominate John Zumwalt, Vice President.
Second.
is there any additional discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so we have vice president, and now we would have the clerk of the board. Do we have a nomination for the office of board clerk?
I nominate Earl Mann.
Second.
Any discussion? We have a motion and a second for Earl Mann as clerk of the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so we have that taken care of. Now we would move to item D, authorized signature forms for officers and employees.
Yeah, so we have, as we do every year,
Just approve the form.
Right, the authorized signatures, these are the people you can see listed here by position. Myself as Superintendent President, Christine Staton, Vice President of Administrative Services, Brent Calvin, Vice President of Student Services, Jennifer Vega Lacerna, Vice President of Academic Services, Linda McCauley in our fiscal office, and Leangela Miller Hernandez in our fiscal office. With approval of the board, these would be authorized signatures for conducting official college business. And upon your approval of this list, we would secure these signatures.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the authorized signatures regarding the employees of the college. Is there any additional discussion? Not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item are the setting of the scheduled regular board meetings for 2017, and those are listed also underneath there, and I suspect that these meeting dates are consistent with the second Monday of the month.
Correct?
And we also have listed the scheduled board retreat meeting, which is
Correct.
January 26th and 27th of 2017.
And the only note we would bring to your attention, you're correct, Mr. President, these all follow the second Monday of the month pattern. We wanted to note that when you get to April 10th, that second Monday happens to fall during the college's spring break on the academic calendar for 17-18. And while there may be some offices open, it is a time when people are out of the district and/or use vacation time, especially some classified staff and administrative staff as well. So we provided for you options if you would like to consider changing that meeting. And the April 3rd and the April 17th represent the Monday before and the Monday after. But it would be the pleasure of the board, and honestly, if you kept it consistent with the second Monday of every month, we would make sure we had everybody here we needed to make that work as well.
Mr. Zumwalt.
Yes, in addition to that, I cannot make the May 8th or the July 10th. Can't fix the July 10th. The week earlier is July 3rd, which is the day before 4th of July, probably not a good idea, and the one after doesn't work, so I'm just stuck there. But if we could change the May 8th to 1 week later, it would help me a lot. And then as far as April 3, 10, or 17, I don't care.
Any other thoughts?
So the one option for board member Zumwalt would be from May 8th, that Monday, to May 17th, the following Monday.
No, no,
May 15th?
May 15th.
I'm sorry, 15th, yeah, 7 days later, 15th. I wrote down 15th and I said 17th.
That's April 17th,
No.
May 15th.
15th.
May 15th, okay.
In terms of April, those dates all work for me. Do you think it would be beneficial if we did not have it during spring break so that we wouldn't have to have people come back on their day off?
Yes.
Is there anything that month that is a problem to do it either earlier or later? Because I'm okay with moving it as well.
No, I think we're okay. And what I think about, honestly, when you look in the room and you know who are here for regular reports, faculty, staff, and others, there will be people who won't be here for that if we do it on the regular second Monday. So we would encourage and support either April 3rd or April 17th.
Well, I'd say the 17th if we're gonna do May the 15th, and that way at least those are a month apart, no?
Cool.
If we're gonna change May, or if John's the only one gone in May, we can leave May like it is, right? It's okay if one board member's gone as long as the rest of us are here.
Right, but John needs to be gone in July, and I think he was hoping not to have to miss 2.
Yeah, I can change May as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay. So I think it would, I'm hearing somewhat of a consensus that we would then change the April 10th meeting to make it more convenient for everyone involved, that they would be present here on April 17th, and then that we would make an exception and change the May 8th meeting to May 15.
Sounds good.
So that's what I'm understanding. So I would entertain a motion to accept those dates as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? So with that, I would, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, well, the motion carries, and with the changes to, from the 10th to the 17th in May, and in April, and maybe I shouldn't repeat this again, and May 8th, from May 8th to May 15th. Okay, so that leads us to item F, board member committee representatives.
Correct.
And is this here mainly for discussion and agreement, or is there a formal motion?
There is a motion required to appoint, or in this case perhaps reappoint board members to the standing committees of the board on which you have regular membership. And so what we've done on your backup information for this agenda item is we've listed for you if you go back one, Ken.
Back one.
Right there. We've listed for you the current board members assigned to those committees so that you could discuss whether or not those respective board members wanted to keep those assignments, in which case you would reaffirm this slate, or if you had some discussion amongst you and wanted to trade some assignments, you could do that at this time, and then we would act on it accordingly.
Okay, well, let's do it.
You just appoint, correct?
Well, I would-
We don't vote on it.
I would, we would approve, I think we would approve it in totality once
Yes,
we've,
yes.
once we've agreed amongst ourselves. So with that being said, is there anybody that would like to serve on a different committee than they now serve from that standpoint, or would not like to serve on that committee? Then we could go in that direction as well.
I'm good with my position.
I would ask if board member Sherman has, if you have an interest, Greg, in serving on the foundation group, I would be happy to see that to you, but that's up to you.
I don't know if Tim wants me there, so,
Well-
no, I'm happy. I'm happy to serve on it.
Would you
You've
like to
served
do
on it the
I've
last
served
couple
on
of
it for
years.
at least 2 years.
Yeah, I'm
So I
happy to-
think they're probably tired of looking at my,
I'm happy to serve on it.
okay, so we'll make a change and have a board member Sherman be the representative to the COS Foundation Board. Any others? Earl, you okay with that?
Yep.
All right, so with that one change, I would ask for an approval for the various board member on the committees.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of board member committee representatives. Is there any additional discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, so that is taken care of. So with that, per board policy 2350, any person may address the board at this time either on an agenda item or other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker, with a maximum of 15 minutes per item unless otherwise extended by the board. At this time, are there any public comments concerning items on the agenda? None. Are there any public comments concerning items not on the agenda? None there as well. All right. Under board and executive staff reports, we will move there, and We will not have a trustee report this evening. Do we have any board member reports today?
I just want to say I attended White Christmas, and what an outstanding program that was. I keep thinking that the last one I saw was the best one I've seen, so, and I think this one was outstanding. And I'd like to compliment James McDonald for the work he does, and the costumes and the hairdos and everything. I mean, it was just outstanding, so.
I,
Knows how to spend money.
I'm gonna say ditto to that, and the night I went, it was packed. In fact, someone was in our seats, and they kinda looked like, oh, they came, and they're like, yeah, sorry, I mean, there wasn't an empty seat in the house, so.
Same way that night we were there, it
So
was
was
sold
it a
out.
full house every night?
No, unfortunately not.
No?
Second weekend more than the first.
Got it, okay.
And closing day, Sunday, 30 people, sold out house. And they're like, we gotta get in this evening, so we let them sit in the lobby.
You did?
I let them know firmly.
Wow.
We had plenty of seats last week, why didn't you come then?
Oh,
Yeah.
shucks, yeah. The night I came, there wasn't an empty seat. Yeah, that was good to see, so,
Thank you.
good job.
Okay. Likewise, I attended as well, and it was very impressive, and Steve's crew and the whole production, and Mr. McDonald, I just can't imagine a better production than that, really, so.
And the music, I mean, it was.
And how about those two ladies that were, I can't remember what their, they were always making noises, and, they were funny as heck, so.
We have some real talent in this community.
We do.
Okay, so that appears to be all for us. Mr. Foster, you have a foundation report for us.
Just a few quick updates for you. We had our Power of the Purse event the Thursday before Thanksgiving on the 17th, and we ended up netting $24,650. That's just shy of our $25,000 goal, but it still is better than last year at $23,880. The committee voted to double the number of scholarships that we'll be awarding this next cycle. So that'll allow for 10 single parents re-entering college to receive a $2,000 scholarship this next round. Two recipients from the previous round spoke at the event, and they really inspired the room. It was great. Our Giant Alumni Quest has come to a conclusion. We broke the 200 alumni mark, so we have a good roster of folks. 5 teams were helping us out with that. Friday, we're gonna have a little award ceremony and award our students, our student team leaders between $500 and $2,500 for their participation in that. And the foundation board is committed to continue recruitment hereafter. So it's going to become a board priority to continually seek out alumni and get them connected to our alumni association. We had Giving Tuesday on November 29th. That's where a few departments participated in making the Tuesday after Black Friday and Cyber Monday to be a time of giving to your community and celebrating that. They did a great job, actually. We raised $6,665.02 that day, and the Giant Food
Typo.
Pantry was the big winner. They secured $4,500,
Wow.
$4,588 for the food pantry. So the foundation put up sort of a stake in this competition of $1,000, up to $1,000 match, dollar
Wow.
for dollar, and they far exceeded $1,000, so they got an additional $1,000. So it was a good weekend for them to do this. As you mentioned, we had Trustee Sherman, Trustee Mann, and Trustee Nunez attended the play during the VIP night. I know Trustee Cardoza, you had a scheduling conflict, but we were able to precede the meeting, the play with a little cocktail party, and I appreciate you folks coming to that. I hope you enjoyed meeting with the cast beforehand as well, and then a little dessert during intermission. So that went well, and it also raised an extra $1,250 for the theater production, above and beyond what the tickets would have raised for them. Our Avenue to Education, which is our Hanford event that coincides with the Hanford Christmas tree auction. We took a little different approach to it. We launched a 14-month, $30,000 capital campaign to help with the student pavilion project. So we're hoping to raise that $30,000 to help with paying for some student bulletin system and a lighting system and a sound system to go in with that project. The foundation has committed up to $15,000 of match funds from what we raised for it if necessary. And so far, we already have a $5,000 commitment from the Educational Employees Credit Union and a few $1,000s more that was raised through the course of our Avenue to Education campaigning and the Christmas tree auction last week. So we're getting there. But again, it's a 14-month campaign. We will conclude it next December. And then upcoming dates, I just gave you two-sided copies of the most recent flyers to the two upcoming Meet the Giants events, one for men's basketball and one for baseball.
Very good.
Trustee Sherman,
Any,
Nola helped us out with that power of the purse. She did just fine.
any,
I know you were worried about that.
thank you. Any questions for Mr. Foster? Thank you, Tim.
She told me she was not buying a purse this year. But I think she bought two or something.
Dr. Lucerna, thank you.
Yes. So update on accreditation. The accreditation work group is continually to move ahead with drafting our first sections of the accreditation self-study. As you know, there are 4 accreditation standards, and so we've been reviewing the feedback, input, evidence, and then any gaps in each standard, 1 per month. So we've completed standard 1, standard 2, and we've done half of standard 3. So January we'll wrap up standard 3, and in February we'll be working on standard 4. We'll be sharing a timeline with everybody at Convocation on how accreditation the rest of next year is going to roll out. So that's where we are right now.
Good.
Any questions?
Questions? Thank you. Okay, under next item, under superintendent report.
Yeah, I'd like to defer my time this evening to our Dean of Facilities, Mr. Byron Woods, and he's going to make an introduction of one of our newly hired management staff.
Good evening. I'd like to take this moment to introduce you to the newest member of the Facilities Department's management team, our new Manager of Maintenance and Operations, Mr. Ken Lamb. The former M&O manager, Mr. Ralph Molliff, will be retiring at the end of the month, and after working for COS for the past 8 years. So we're excited to have Ken fill his position and continue the successful operations of our department. Mr. Lamb has deep roots in our neighboring town of Exeter. His father owned a drywall business there, which enabled him to develop skills and expertise in the construction industry at a very young age. After taking a couple classes here at COS and a few years of service in the U.S. Navy, Ken returned to Exeter and successfully ran his own construction business as a licensed contractor for more than 25 years. During the end of that stretch, Ken was hired by the district as an outside contractor to complete numerous maintenance, repairs, and improvement projects throughout the district's 3 campuses. And in 2011, he was hired by COS as a maintenance worker, where he has since exhibited a dedication and attention to detail that far exceeds the standard expectations of his trade. He knows the ins and outs of our campuses almost better than anyone. He's extremely motivated, and he won't stop until the job gets done. And the funny thing is, in our line of work, the job is never done. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ken Lamb.
Ladies and gentlemen, so good to be here tonight, and really excited about my career here at COS. I've already done a lot of work, but there's a lot of work to do, and we're really excited about what we're going to do for the whole district, Hanford and Tulare. And I say, get this place to looking really nice. You know, all my 3 sons went here, and my wife went here. I went here. I have a daughter-in-law that soon to be went here. One daughter-in-law, give me the camera, sis. Do not go here. That's my daughter-in-law.
But she works here.
She works here.
We
It
got her,
counts,
we
it
got her
counts.
eventually.
Embarrassing, but, you know, our roots are here in this area, and, you know, I'm excited about what we've done here, trying to get people to come to COS, trying to make it a great environment for everybody to attend, so they can get what they need to go to the next degree and get what they need to have a good career in their lives. So, it's exciting, thank you for the privilege and the honor to get to serve you as the manager of maintenance and operations.
Welcome.
Not so fast, not so fast. Right, we always have questions, so.
Question, yes.
If, my question would be, is there one thing that you've always thought, man, if I was in charge of this place, this is what I want to do?
Oh, absolutely.
Is
yeah.
there?
This is your chance, Ken.
This
What's
is
the
my
first thing
chance.
on your list?
Yeah, money is not even a consideration. No, there are a lot of areas in this district that needs some updating and some revising, and we're starting to do that now with Byron, and I'd just like to see things a little cleaner, a little nicer, a little safer, for all of our staff, all of our students. So there's a lot of projects to do. It may take me 15 years to get it all done, but I'm willing to do it. We'll try to do it all by Christmas, but.
Okay, and I didn't tell you to say that, but that was number one on my list, what you said,
Thank
so,
you.
good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, with that, we're gonna move to the academic Senate report. Dr. Trimble? No report today. Thank you for being here. All right, next on the agenda, Costa Representative Report, Mr. Tidwell.
Thank you. Good evening. Start by saying that I want to thank you for sharing and making the video of the last board meeting available to the Costa leadership. They did show part of that at the last Costa meeting, and it went over very, very well. So thank you for your words, and thank you for letting us share it with them. I think it was very helpful. I wish that I had nothing but glowing and happy things to report this month. I do simply want to inform you, and I want to say, before I begin my remarks, that this is hard, because I'm going to be speaking about a conflict that has developed with some of my colleagues. And I want you to know that through all of this, I admire the folks that are exerting their rights. They are my colleagues, and many of them are my friends, and one of them is my old next-door neighbor. We're all faculty here. We may be a cantankerous family, but I believe, frankly, that we are all a family. So, that said, within the last month, an unfair labor practice charge was filed against Costa and CTA, claiming a violation of the duty of fair representation. The charge claims that Costa and CTA violated the plaintiff's rights by placing the COLA grievance, which you may remember, in abeyance, pending the outcome of negotiations and denying them the right to send the grievance all the way to arbitration without the involvement of Costa. At this point, the unfair labor practice has been forwarded to the attorneys at CTA for a response to the Public Employees Relationship Board. Costa is confident that it acted appropriately at all times and that the unfair practice charge against it will be dismissed. Both Costa and CTA will be responding to PERB by the December 18th deadline. We're aware that having the issue of the COLA grievance and the abeyance resurrected will likely have a detrimental effect on next spring's negotiations. Given the optimistic tone of the conversation that we had here last month, it would not be an understatement to say that this development deeply troubles the majority of faculty. We ask that you keep an open mind as we seek a swift resolution through PERB, and we will keep you informed of developments. Thank you. Question?
Thank you, Mr. Tidwell. Well, I think I, for one, and the other board members can speak for themselves, certainly will keep an open mind. It's something that I don't think any of us were aware of, certainly. And anybody else have any comments in that regard before I ask if President Karasosa would like to have any comments in that respect, in that regard?
I don't even know what he's talking about, so.
Yeah. I want to publicly thank both Paul and Lisa Greer, Costa officers, who took the time to come and make an appointment with me and share this news, and make sure that we were alerted. It's a unique occurrence when there's a filing internally between faculty members and their association, but it's possible. And so at this point, I think we all just do what we've typically done in these situations. We wait, we see, we follow the work that you all are doing. We do have an open mind. I'm hopeful that a swift resolution can be reached. I think there is some concern about the fact that a body like PERB sometimes looks at these things in ways that we don't all understand. And so, but something like this has the potential to, cause some problems with the existing agreement. That's my biggest concern, honestly. To put it all out there on the table and just kind of get on the record that in order to award this kind of a complaint, the remedy would be to allow that previous statutory COLA grievance, which has been eliminated, to be reinstated and go forward. If you all recall, not the letter holding the grievance in abeyance, but the actual contract agreement that was ratified by the board and by Costa has specific language that agreement is contingent upon this case being dropped. So if it's not dropped, the agreement we've recently entered into becomes null and void. Then we have the arduous task of rolling back everything we've provided people, because we would take ourselves back to where we were before this agreement was reached.
And, go ahead, John. Is it fair to say too that the financial, economical consequence of that COLA grievance is huge to our budget, correct?
It could be, yeah, it could be. If that were to actually go forward, we'd have two issues we would be working on as a district. One, we wouldn't have a negotiated agreement like we thought we did. So the compensation that's been put in place and the changes that have been made would all have to be undone. Secondly, then, we would be arguing our case of that statutory
Back
COLA
again.
going back,
Mm.
which, I mean, we prepared to do, thinking that we were gonna have to do that. When we didn't have to do that, I think we were all certainly glad, but the biggest trauma to me, I don't wanna go back and fight the COLA grievance either, but we're prepared to do that. We know that we can do that. The biggest trauma would be to the district now, because we'd be rolling back what we've implemented in terms of all the compensation associated with this agreement.
Between now and when PERB decides to go left or right, are we a party to anything?
No,
We're just observers.
yes.
Well,
Gosh, and I guess from our experience with PERB though, this could take months. How do you prepare for something like that?
Probably more than months.
took years.
I'm hoping
Okay.
that because, it was filed against Costa and CTA has leverage.
I might move a little faster.
It may expedite faster.
So we continue under the agreement that we negotiated, and then if they rule against the Costa, then's when you got issue.
Right.
Do you have to have a certain number of faculty members to do that? I'm not clear. Is it, just so that we know as board members, is it a small number? Is it a big number? Is it, or, can just anybody do it, one person, or does it take more, how does that work?
I don't believe that there is a limit. I think that anyone who has a grievance can bring up.
So it could be just one
Yeah.
person?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, listen, I think we have the information.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with
And,
us.
thank you for that.
good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
We will move forward. All right, next item on the agenda, Mr. Lamar.
I'd just like to quickly wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. It's always a pleasure working here at COS. And I'd also like to say on behalf of CSEA, we're saddened to lose one of our classified members, but he is now management. We're going to miss him a lot. And I have experienced it with him from his contracting days up until now. And he's always been a pleasure and a great person so I'm happy for him, but we're going to miss him in the classified.
Okay, thank you, Steve. I don't see Mr. Nakamura here today, or
On Bryce's behalf, President Nunes, he did send me an email today, and he is giving final exams this evening, but he said COSAFA has no report.
Thank you. Okay, consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. An item may be removed from the consent calendar at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees or any person in the audience and considered as a separate agenda item. We have 5 items on the consent calendar today. Are there any items that need to be pulled by any member of the board? None. By member of the audience? None as well. So with that, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the consent calendar.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve consent calendar. Any further discussion? Not. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Action items, curriculum. Item 6, Dr. Lacerna.
Hello again. I have a very short curriculum report for you today. This, as you know, has been approved by the Curriculum Committee and the Academic Senate, and we're requesting approval by the Board of Trustees. We have 2 modified courses that are here for 5-year review, the American Sign Language, Advanced in Interpreting, and then we have 2 modified post-police, Certified Basic Police Academy. These came to you in the July meeting, but we put an effective date of fall 2017. Those were approved, and we actually would like to offer those 2 courses in spring of 2017. So those are coming forward just as a date change. We need to make that official in the records. And that is the very short report.
Thank you. Okay, so with those explanation,
Move for approval. Second.
we have a motion and a second for the approval of the curriculum report, new, modified, and deleted. Is there any additional discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Board policies. The following policies were reviewed and approved by senior management, District Governance Senate, and the Academic Senate. Mr. Carrizosa?
Yes, so these board policies are now before you second time. We had these at our last meeting for information, and as you mentioned, President Nunes, you can see through the way we code these that any language that's being proposed for elimination has a strike through. All new wording is bolded and underlined. So we've got this series of 5,000s, which are student services, board policies coming to you for a second and final reading. You have seen these once. They're back now a second time with no changes. From that first time that you saw them, we'll answer any questions you might have.
Can we approve them all in one motion?
You can.
Can?
You can, yes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of board policies 5030, 5140, 5300, and 5700. Is there any further discussion? Now, is this the second read? So we move.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the second read, so we have a motion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
You had a roll call, isn't it?
Oh,
I
I'm
mean-
sorry, is this a roll call vote?
Oh, no, it isn't.
No, this is board
Okay.
policy, not a resolution.
Yeah,
So we're
okay.
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 Sorry again. I saw a second read and I thought there
There
was.
we go. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you
You're
very
losing
much.
us, Ken.
I know. It's early, too. All right, item 8. This is the lease of the Evans ditch water stock, and I believe we've approved this going out to a bid or
November,
before.
you approved a resolution, and unfortunately, we need to do this every year because of the nature of the surplus property. But we went out to bid in November. We only received 1 bid back. It was from Evans Ditch Company itself, and it was for $16,080. That's who had the bid, or got the bid last year as well. The year before, it had been Tulare Irrigation District. But, so we have one bid, and we are here tonight to have you approve the agreement for 1 year.
How was the 16,000 compared to last year?
Same amount, exact
Okay,
same
and then
amount.
the Tulare, when they were there, was it about the same?
I
or-
believe it was 14 or 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't believe in inflation.
A
Where's that-
little bit. of
Where's
inflation.
that 1 or 2%?
That's the same bidder from last year.
It's exactly the same as last year.
Move to,
Okay, any
move to
questions?
approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the lease of the Evans Ditch Water Stock. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, item 9, that's Ms. Staton once again. This is the mandated cost reimbursement funds, the expenditure plan, and I believe this item also appeared on our previous meeting as an informational item.
Right.
So there really aren't any changes. You had the information in November, and it's here before you for approval of the $865,000. Again, it started at our budget committee and then went to District Governance Senate for approval in October. They first took it back to their constituents for a little input. A lot of additional ideas came forward, but these were the final ones recommended. And probably a couple of the largest are the wireless access work that we're doing throughout the district, starting here with the Visalia campus, $175,000 there. And then the one that might be of interest to you that you've seen is trying to set in place a plan for replacement of the turf in 2020, and taking $190,000 of this, and then we will hopefully have another $100,000 each year as we close the books to get very close to that amount.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions for,
I was just gonna ask, I mean, I guess besides the wireless, which that's gonna happen now, if any of them don't pan out or something changes, where does the money fall back into? Into other projects or into others on this list, or are all of these pretty current and ready to go?
I think these are current and ready to go. We
Okay.
haven't even really gone to that point. Now whether a few thousand fall, maybe it's a few thousand less. I believe probably technology computer refresh, that was our last one, and I think it started out with a couple $100,000.
So
We
it'll
kept
fall
having to
into
lower
there.
it. That
Okay.
would probably be my recommendation,
it.
but
Okay.
as it stands, they're all costed out very accurately, and we just plan to
To,
allocate the funds.
Spend it all,
accordingly.
and probably could use some more. Got it,
Yeah,
okay.
We need these things, so we're excited to get them
Okay,
done.
got it. Okay, move to approve. That being said.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the expenditure plan for the cost reimbursement funds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any additional discussion? I'm sorry. Opposed? None? Motion is approved.
We elected you.
It's too easy of a
Yeah.
meeting. It's
Yeah.
just too easy tonight. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Short
I can't
agendas get
believe
you
we're
every
done. I
time.
can't believe we're
It's too
done.
short. I
wanna
think
have
he's
a
trying to make it
recall.
longer and he didn't know how. That's what
That's
he was
right.
doing.
That's right. Okay, well, with that, our meeting is adjourned.
Mercifully.